Hi there, welcome to Code Patcher. Today I will discuss about Query Builder in Laravel. The Query Builder in Laravel facilitates us to build a query and execute them. We can build a insert query, we can fetch the result from the database, okay, using the Query Builder. To build a query in Laravel, we use the DB helper, DB facade, sorry, and this one. Okay, so using the db facade we can build our query. So let's understand it with the help of some examples. For your information, I tell you that I have configured my db. The configuration is simple. You can insert here in your .env environment file that db credential, your db credential, okay, mysql, sqlite, whatever you're using, okay. I have already configured, and in my database I have several tables. Let's check it out first. So tables, okay, these are tables, users, tags, etc, etc. So I'm going to use this table. So primarily users table, so let's check it out. Select star from users. Okay, I have 3 4 records in that, and I have also post table, sorry, post. And if I run it, I have several records in that, 2 or 3 records, okay. So let's fetch the record from our database using the db helper. So collect the record, we will collect our records in users. So db, okay, colon colon, and there is a method table. In the table you have to pass the table, your table name, users in this case, okay, and just get, let's say, diagram here, users. Now if you refresh, it will return your collections of your data. I have 4 records in users, okay. So like this, here you can get all the records from your table. You can limit it out with the limit. Suppose I want 2 only, okay. So now I am getting 2 records. If I want only single record, then I have used a special method first, like this, and nothing else. You will get the first record, okay. And obviously to filter out the first record, you can use the where, like this, where age greater than 25, like this, okay. So here is the age we have fetched, age 26. So using the first, you will get only 1 record, okay, on the basis of the condition we have given. You can get the record by id using the find method. I have id 4. Now refresh, I get this, okay. Like a single row, you can fetch the single column also with the value function. In this, you have to pass a column name. It must be a string. Suppose we want to fetch the name only, and if we refresh, we'll get the name. Okay, but sometime and it returns only single records, single column. Okay, also, but sometime we want a single column from all the records. So to process our select box or something, so you can use the pluck. It will fetch the name column from all the records and returns your collection. Okay, but here you can see it's a serial number 0123, and if you want to id, then you can pass the second argument, okay, or whatever you want. Okay, with the id, and in with this result we can process it in our PHP code quite conveniently. Okay, so you can also, if you do not want to fetch all the records, you can chunk it out. So there is a chunk method, table users chunk, and to use the chunk you must use the order by also. It's a compulsion. Okay, whatever field you want to use, because through this order by, Laravel keep tracks and keep chunking the data for you after organize order by. Okay, so chunk, and the first argument will be the chunk size, and the second will be the your processor function. And this processor function, you have to provide the variable, you have to provide the data variable, okay, in which you will have the data. So let's dump here in this, like this. Okay, so we will get the two chunks of the data, and in each chunk we will have two records. So let's refresh it out. Expected return. Okay, we forgot the semicolon. Okay, so we got the two chunk with the two result of each. Okay, if we modify it by one, then we got the four chunks. Okay, the chunk is very useful, and you can use chunk to processing large amount of data. Okay, because in some situation we need all the data and process it all. So for that we do not want to keep all the data in memory at once. So we need we need the chunk in this case, and it will be very helpful. Okay. Sometimes we need to find out if record exists or not. So for that, it facilitates the method does exist and does not exist. Okay, so let's find out ID 3. This record, we don't have this. We don't have record with this ID. Okay, so if we run exist on this, then it must return the false. So let's check it out, and false. Okay, We have the record with the id 4, and it will return the true. Okay, and there is also its counterpart, does not exist. Okay, and it return false because it's negate the condition. Okay, and if we I pass here 3, then it will return true. Okay, you can use in some situation if you don't want to write the exist code in your PHP. Okay, you can directly fetch it out from this query builder. Sometime we with the select we can fetch the columns you want. Okay, by default it returns all the columns of the record. If you select name id only like this. Okay, like that. Okay, so using the select you can fetch the columns whatever you want. Okay. Sometime after if you have a multiple select you can have, but the last one select will override the previous one. Let's suppose in this we want age also, and if we run this we will have age only. Okay, so we can't have the multiple select at the same time, but there is a method add select where it appends the append this columns with the existing selects. Okay, with the add select you can append the selection of column like a name add the edge. Okay, we are getting. So it's a very useful method. It provides also the bunch of aggregated method like sum. Okay, and if you pass the age it will sum of all the ages exist the user, or you can also define the condition here. Okay, is the aggregated method like we have in my school, and likewise the average avg it will give the average. Okay, and the max we will get the maximum age, and the min we will get the minimum age. Okay, so these are the aggregated method. We have also the group by clause in this. Let's select the age here and group by age. Okay, get, and now if we refresh it we'll have the records group by age. Okay, we have also the having clause also like this, and in the having clause we have conditions like we have an where clause. So suppose uh, previously we are getting three groups 25, 26, 27. So let's filter it out where having age mm, let's say greater than 25. So it will not include this time the 25. If you refresh we'll get 2. Okay, like this. We have a limit clause also. So uh, instead of getting all the data we can limit it let's say 2. Okay, so we will get 2 records only, 4 and 6, first 2 records. And if we define the offset where it should start fetching, by default it start from starting, so we are getting the first 2 rows, 4 and 6. And if we want to skip the first record, then we can provide the offset. Okay, so now it will fetch the last 2 records, 7 and 8, 7 and 9, sorry. Okay, there is an alternative also. We have skip 2 records and then take 2 records. Okay, we can use the skip and take instead of using offset and limit. Okay, the same result we will have. Okay. By default we are getting the result in order they have inserted in DB. Okay, for ID 6, ID 7 and ID 9. Okay, and if you want to order by, then we can use the order by class, and with the order by class we will pass the column name, and the second will be ascending or descending. By default is ascending. Okay, we want to use it as a descending, then we have to provide the DSC, an abbreviated form of the ordering. Okay, and first record we will get 9, 7. Okay, so we can use the order by class to ordering the data. There is a reorder method also. The reorder actually remove all the ordering if you have before, and if we run it like this without the parameter in this, okay, then it remove all the ordering as we are getting the normal ordering of the data. Okay, it just remove the order by before it before we have declared. And in this, if you pass the new order, let's say each, okay, and DSC, so you can pass. So reorder, remove the ordering if you have any, and then if you pass any uh, orders instruction in that, then it will order the data by that. So it must be ordered by age. Descending, we have 27, 26, and last two must be 25 and 25. Okay, like this. There is a clause of latest and oldest data. So it will latest. Sorry. Okay, it works on by default on created at column. So if we check it out, our database DSC users. Okay, we have a created at column, and it will work on by default. If we refresh and return it, then we will get the latest at the top. Okay. Likewise, if we want to order it by new created at, then you can also means other column you have to pass in that, and if you refresh, you're getting now different ordering. Okay, because I have changed the different dates in new created at. So you can customize the latest and likewise the oldest also. Oldest will get you the oldest record on the basis of the created at date and time. Okay, so you can use this method on the fly without using order by or limit. So let's check it out the where clauses. Okay, so let's select few columns only: id, name, and age. Okay, and the simplest form of the where to pass the column name and the operator. Okay, and the third parameter is the value which you want to compare. So let's say 25. Okay, so we will get all the records whose age will be greater than 25. One more thing I want to tell you that if you return the user as it is, then Laravel basically, if you are returning an array from your views, from your route or action, then Laravel get automatically converted it to into JSON. Okay, so if now refresh, then we will get this. I have installed the JSON extension, so that's why it's showing in a formatted way. You can do it also. Okay, so I'm getting all the records which has age um, greater than 25. Okay, and if we pass the equals to, then we will get the 25. The records which have 25 each. Okay. If you have equals to sign, then you can ignore it to pass. By default, it takes the operator as equals to the same result we will get. Okay. Otherwise, you have to pass that. If you have other operators, okay, then you can pass the like also in that. So like, as we are using in MySQL, there is a record which name is Suraj, like this. So we will get single record Suraj and Sandeep also. Okay. So we can use the like operator with the like, with the where. Okay. And also, if you want to, if you have the multiple where, if you need to have multiple where, then you can define like this, like age. So just for, let's say age 25 equals to, and age must be 25. So we have two condition. We can have number of multiple condition more than one. Okay, there is no restriction in that. So we will get this. Instead of declaring this type, you can also combine this into one and pass it as an array. So let's say like this. Okay, and let's define this, and if we refresh, okay, we have missed out an outer array. Okay, like this. Now if we refresh, we will get the same record. By default, the where we are using generates a and clause, and if you want to use the or clause, okay, let's comment it out first. If we want to fetch the records which have the age equals to 25, or not and, or name like starting with the Sue, so we can use the or where like this. So we will have all the record which have the 25 age or the name starting with the Sue. So let's check it out. Okay, it has a 25 age. It has the Sue starting with the Sue. It fulfill the both the conditions. Okay, so like where we have also the array of condition in or where also. Okay, there is a method also where in. Sometimes we need to look up the value in the array of values. Okay, so age 25 or 27. You can use the wherein and refresh the 25 27 returns. Okay, we can also use the not in. Okay. Likewise, then we will get the 26. Okay, because we don't have record in the provided array. And if you want to use the between clause like we are using in MySQL, then we can use between also. And if we refresh, we will have all the record between 25 to 27 inclusively. Okay, and likewise we have a not between clause also. You can check it out. For the null condition, we have the null where null command. Okay, if age is null, we need to provide the column only. We don't have any record which have null values. So let's check it out our database if we have one. Select star from users. Okay, and okay, we have a column meta info. Some of records has value in that, but some of them not. In this column, we have JSON values. Okay, we will come into that later, but for now, let's filter out with the more meta info column. Okay, and if we refresh, we'll get the 26 and 27. Sorry, we get that 6 and 7 ID. Okay, so in the 6 ID, you can see here we will have the meta info null. Okay, and the 7 we have also in the null. Okay, and the other records we have values. Okay, so we are getting records. So you can use the null, or you can use the also not null, where not null. So it will return where the meta info is not null, like this. Okay, there is bunch of function related to date, month, and time, like where date, and in that we have to pass the date value also. So let's copy the date created at. Okay. And here you need to pass the column, and here you need to pass the date, like this. It will return all the record which has the date, has the date like this. Okay, on this record, on this date, this record, let's include the date created it also. Good. 4 6, all the record which we are getting has the same date which we have filtered. Okay, like this we can use this date function. We can also compare the column, like if we have two columns with the where column function. Okay. Let's say id and age. It will return the record, all the record which has the same id and age, and we don't have any. Okay, so let's pass the operator in it and say where id less than age, then we will have all the column, obviously, because age has two bigger value. Okay, we can compare the column value also with the bare column method. Okay, the next thing I want to discuss, excuse me, the exist class. Like in MySQL, we use the exist uh, clause in the where, we can use here also. Like in the exist class, we provide the subquery. Okay, so if we check it out, our post table, select star from post. Okay, we have three records, and all the records have the user ID 4. So let's fetch it out the post record. If it has, then it will return. So where exist. Okay. So in the where exist, we need to pass the function and query. Okay. And with the help of query, we can write the subquery for that. Select stores. Okay. From post like this, and where, let's say, id equals to 5. Okay. So for the id 5 we don't have any post, then we will get nothing in this case. Okay. And if we fetch the 4 with id 4, the user id 4, okay, then we will have the result. So using this method, you can use using the where exist method, you can implement the exist clause of the MySQL. So that's all for the today, and we will continue on the query builder in my next video. So thank you for the joining us today.